Okay, hello everyone. Hopefully you're alive. Say hi in chat so I know that people are here, please. Yay! Alright, so about 25 people I think watching right now, which is awesome. Alright, so welcome to the DevOps Playground. Today we'll be doing. Apparently I'm a little quiet. Let me just check my sound if I can increase it anymore. Let me know if this audio is better, please. I'll give you a couple of seconds because of the lag. Test. Oh, I can see more people are joining, so we're up to 30 now. Hello. Hello, Mark. Hello, Gavin. Hi, Boris. Okay, I'm gonna continue and hope that my sound is improved and that it's good for everyone. Have we gone down? I've lost video. I think maybe we're having some technical difficulties. It's back. Okay, I'm just going to continue then until I get another notification that I'm down. Okay, one more time. Hello and welcome to the DevOps Playground. I'm Grace and I'm today's host. And this playground is all about Cypress and Cypress Dashboard. So let's go on to the next one. So I've been working for ECS for around 9 months, maybe going on to 10 months now. And I joined as part of the academy that ECS runs. And it's been a great company. And during my time, I learned about testing and Cypress. And I'm here to share with you how you can automate your tests with Cypress and using the Cypress dashboard and running your tests in an automated way in the CI/CD pipeline. Or we're just going to be doing the CI part because continuous delivery is a lot of work. All right. So the DevOps Playground is all about inspiring tech enthusiasts to explore new technology, and we do hands-on events every month. So let's look at today's agenda. So we're gonna talk a little bit about why do we need testing, the use cases of Cypress, especially with Cypress Dashboard, a little bit about what it costs, hands-on, and then Q&A at the end. Please feel free to ask for support in our Slack channel. If you've not already joined it, please join it. We've got some people from ECS giving some support, so don't be shy. Okay, so testing. You want to release applications fast, with confidence, automated? Yeah, then you need to automate your tests as part of your pipeline. This can be somewhat of a challenge, but there's lots of documentation, there's lots of different ways of doing things. It's a big subject, so for this we're just going to try and keep it simple, try and keep it real easy with Cypress and Cypress Dashboard. And let's go a little bit more into why I've chosen this for today's playground. So Cypress is a way that you can test any web application. And you can extend that to just anything that runs in the browser. It's easy to use and to set up. And there's a lot of documents for Cypress. It's very popular, or it's becoming very popular, and there's quite a big community. And you can do a lot of different testing and test cases as well with Cypress. Now, Cypress Dashboard allows you to record your Cypress Dashboard results, and we'll see a bit, but it's like just uploading them to the cloud, but in a really easy way to see and view. So you can easily see errors, you can see where your tests have failed in the test. So it's really human friendly, which is why I really love Cypress Dashboard. With testing, the cost can vary depending on what pipeline you use, what tools. Most of the time, the test tools themselves are free, but there are different kind of subscriptions. For example, if you're doing visual regression, so things like ApplyTools, that has a charge. But anything that you just can run on your computer usually doesn't have any charge. The charge is in the automation process as part of the pipeline. So using Cypress itself is free, and Cypress Dashboard has a free plan, and that plan includes 500 recordings per month. You can have 3 users. I really like this, and so this is going to be great for us because we're going to be making Cypress Dashboards counts, and we're not going to hit 500 recordings, or hopefully not, during this demo. But yeah, so if you've got a team of 3, maybe a team of 3 testers, or 1 tester, 2 devs, yeah, you could probably get used to the free plan, kind of test it out. Really good for like any minimum viable products that you're working on. And then after that, there's different pricing plans. CodeBuild has a free tier, so you can get 100 builds, 100 build minutes. So this is where, because it's build in minutes, this is where how many tests you run and how efficient and how fast you can make your pipeline, or at least your build, is really important. So you definitely want to try and reduce as much waste as possible, make everything super efficient and super smooth. And then after that, there's lots of different kind of varying tiers. All this stuff is easy to find. You can just go to AWS and type in CodeBuild and then look at the pricing plans. All right, so before we get hands-on, let's look at what we will do. So we will create a dashboard account. We'll log test runs from AWS CodeBuild. We'll write some tests. And I just want to give a real quick disclaimer. The infrastructure that we're going to be using is experimental. That's because it's open source and it's very new for us. So if you notice anything a bit strange, please let us know. That's part of being a tester and a QA. So we've got faith in you. But if it does get too much and there's some sort of issue that's just really kind of annoying you, don't worry, and please feel free to jump on your local machine at any point. If you have Visual Studio Code installed or just from terminal, you can just follow the README document and continue along on your machine. And yeah, please leave feedback. All right. Oops, I forgot to update the slide. Okay. Now let me see, how do I stop? Oh, there we go. So let me go this way. All right, so if you've joined the meetup event, in here we've got the support Slack channel, which you can join. I don't think we've left the link for getting your meetup details, for getting your instant details. So I don't know if you can see it here, but we've got, it's digital-meetup-sign-user-west-1.amazonaws.com/index.html. So I'm going to demonstrate how you can use your meetup username to get the instance. So I've just got a spare user that I can use to get some details. And there we go. So from here, you've got your Guacamole user. This is what we're going to use to log into our instance, along with your password. You also have your AWS user account and your AWS password, which we'll be using for stage 2. So first we're going to go to the instance, and I'm going to do everything through the Guacamole instance. So I'm just going to find my real details on my other screen. So I'm using my Guacamole user, my Guacamole password that I have. If you have any issues, oops, I forgot what I was typing. If you have any issues finding your details, please contact the support team in our Slack channel or even on the YouTube channel chat, and they will be able to help you find your details, or they can provide you with a spec. Yeah, I saw it crashed. It just closed. Yeah, OBS just closed. You getting back up? Yeah, I've clicked start streaming, so I'm waiting for it to come back up. I'll just message them, let them know. That should be fine. No, actual OBS. Yeah, I know. Like some drop. I was like, I think it should be fine. What's happened? I'm already back. Right, cool. I'm back live. Sorry about that. So yeah, OBS, the software that we're using, it just decided to crash and completely close. Sorry about that. Hopefully, okay, I'm gonna continue. Hopefully everyone's following along and up to date. Okay, so here we've got our SSH-2, that's a terminal. And then what we really want to be working on is the VNC-2. And we should be able to do everything just from this. Okay, so now it's loaded in. You should see the screen. The video is still not back for me, but I'll keep going. Oops. Alright, there we are. I just had to refresh it. Okay, so here we've got VS Code. So this is Visual Studio Code that we've installed. So I just double click that to open it. I'm just going to close that pop-up because it's annoying. Alright, so we're going to open up a new terminal inside of VS Code just to make it a little bit easier. And I'm also going to maximize Visual Studio Code. Okay. And now we need to open up the web browser, which is just this little world with an arrow. And that opens up Firefox. I'm going to close that tab. And from here we need to log into your GitHub account. So I'm just going to type in github.com. I'm going to go to sign in. Oops. And hopefully I can remember my password. I'm not going to save it. Right, I need to open up my email to get my verification code because I set up verification protection. Alright. Okay, well I could click here, but most people won't do this. So if you just start typing DevOps, oops, not of an to E, DevOps Playground, it should come up with a suggestion. If not, you can just continue typing hands on the Cypress dashboard until it appears. Let me close my emails because it's distracting. Okay, so you should be in DevOps Playground, hands-on with Cypress Dashboard, and you're just going to fork that to our account. So this is going to take a while, maybe a couple seconds. But while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and create a Cypress Dashboard account. So again, I'm just going to type in dashboard.cypress.io. And I'm going to click Login with GitHub. Or you can use Google, but GitHub is easier. So now it's going to ask to be authorized. So I'm going to be allowing Cypress IO access to my account, and I'm fine with that. So I'm going to click authorize. And just wait for that to load. Okay. And now Cypress wants some details. So I don't do this yet. I do this. I don't really do those, but I do write tests. And I don't really manage infrastructure, but I do manage quality. So yeah. And I'm just going to click this one and continue. You're welcome to select whatever options you want for this part. Okay. And now you should see the screen where you've got your organizations, and by default Cypress makes a personal organization. Someone just made a terrible joke about my name. Alright. Okay. So now we've got Cypress Dashboard linked up with our GitHub account. So we're going to clone the repository. I'm going to use the HTTPS. But this will require you to enter your password and credentials into our environment as environment variables. If you're not comfortable with that, then there's a different way that you can do this through the README. So if we scroll down here, here we are. So it's this part here. So you can do git clone your username, colon your password, and then you use the GitHub URL. Oops, sorry, I got confused there. So it's right at the top. Yeah. So I'm going to click this, and I'm going to right click to copy. And now I'm going to go back to Visual Studio Code, which is this tab right at the top. And here, I'm just going to type the command git clone. I need to right click and paste. I can't control V, I don't think, or maybe use Command V. It's a bit confusing when you're using a Mac and Windows at the same time. So I'm doing this because I don't mind entering my details into the instance. Okay, so that should clone down the repository. Now I'm going to cd into the file that it made, which is this. I'm just going to copy it and paste. Alternatively, you can start typing hands-on with and press tab, and it should autocomplete. Okay, so now I've cd'd into that file or folder. I can type in code space dot, and this will open up the repository in Visual Studio Code. And just to not confuse myself, I'm going to close this one with the X here because it opens another window. And I'm going to reopen a new terminal. Okay. So here we've got all the files from the repository. And if you click onto the package.json file, this contains information about what this application needs. So here we've got a list of dependencies that the application needs to run, and also we have some dev dependencies that's needed for the developers. So here is where we install Cypress. So to install these extra dependencies, I'm just going to type yarn into the terminal and click enter. And now I can see it's fetching all those packages. So hopefully everyone is doing well, doing good. I'm just going to check support chat. Well, nothing's through so far. This is taking a little bit longer than usual. I assume that's because we have quite a lot of people following along, which is great. I don't mind waiting. Cypress is, oh, it finished. I was just about to say Cypress is really big, so it takes quite a while to download. But, oh, it must have heard me talking about it. Okay, so now we've installed Cypress. We can open Cypress, open the Cypress UI with yarn Cypress open. I have also added it as a command with a hyphen, just as a way to document the commands. I'm going to press enter, and this will verify Cypress, and it should open it. Like this. Woo! Alright, and now I'm going to click login. I'm going to click login to dashboard. And again, I'm going to log in with GitHub. Yay, so I can see I'm now logged in with my correct GitHub account. So to use Cypress Dashboard, we need to get we need to get an access key and a project ID. Let me just very quickly close this and show you. So you see you have projects, and it's how you set up a project. This is what we're about to do. So I click on that, and I lost Cypress. I think it's this one. There we are, found it. Okay. So if you click on the Runs tab after you've logged in and click Set up a new project, I'm going to leave the name the same and I'm going to leave this the same. I'm going to make it public because I don't mind if people want to have a look at my test runs. And I'm going to click setup. So now, there we go. I was waiting for the reload. So now it's given me a project ID value. And it's also given me my Cypress record key, which is a way to authenticate authenticate my machine or Cypress runner with Cypress Dashboard. So if you go to the cypress.json file, here we have our project ID, and this is my project ID. Yours should be different. So I know that that worked fine. However, for the Cypress record key, that is a sensitive variable. So this example.m file is a good way of recording sensitive variables without having to, or a good way of documenting all the environment variables that your application needs without having to make those public or putting them into your GitHub account, because you really shouldn't be doing that. So with the example.m file, I'm going to copy it with right click, and I'm going to paste it into the root. And then I'm going to right click again and rename, or you can press F2. I'm just going to press the delete and enter. So I've renamed it to just .env. Now if I click off, I can see that this is a little bit grayed out compared to the other files. So if you click on Git ignore, this tells Git all the files that you don't want to, that you don't want to commit. So I've got node modules under there. I don't see my node modules installed. That is strange. Let me, so I'm going to press Control C on the terminal. I'm just going to type yarn because it should have made a node modules folder, but I don't see one. How interesting. Well, it says it's installed, so I'll believe it, and Cypress opened, so yeah, it must be there. It's just weird it's not showing me. Okay. Anyway, I'm going to, in my .env, I'm going to delete this value. And where did Cypress go? Oh, I closed it. I need to reopen Cypress. Alright, that's fine. I can just type yarn Cypress open to reopen it. And go back to runs. And that's my record key that I need. So for this, it won't let me right click. So I'm just going to Control C to copy it. And then click back into Visual Studio Code. And here I can right click and paste. And that should be my Cypress key. I'm going to Control S and save. Okay, so now I want to check that this Cypress record key works with my Cypress Dashboard account. So to do that, let me first open up the README here. And not too far from the top, there we are, is some information about how we can run Cypress with Cypress Dashboard from your local machine. So you have a choice of two commands. You can run Cypress run -- record. This tells Cypress that we want to use Cypress Dashboard and we want to send our test recordings up to the cloud. And -- tells Cypress that we're about to supply it via command line with the Cypress record key. Or you can just do export Cypress record key. And that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to close Cypress, which is running here, with Control C. I'm going to type export space. I'm going to go to .end. I'm going to right click, copy. So I'm just going to copy all of this and paste it right here, so I don't have to do any typing. Okay, so this key should now be in my environment. If I go, not cypress.json, package.json, and I'm going to find this one. So here I can see it runs Cypress run -s record -s key, and then this is a way of getting a variable from the environment by using the $sign before it. So this command is test dashboard. So I'm going to type yarn. And I'm going to type in this command, yarn test dashboard. And that should run Cypress along with recording to the Cypress dashboard. Ooh, I got a fail. That fail. It did. Why did you fail? Oh, I know why it failed. It failed on site.visit. And that is because I forgot to make another terminal and run the application that I want to test. So to run my application, I use the command yarn start, which runs React scripts. So this is a React app that we'll be testing. I made this, so I'm just going to type yarn start in a new terminal, and that's going to load up my React app. So I can wait here for it, or I can go to the terminal, and when it says compiled successfully, I know it's now live. I can confirm that by clicking here. And here it is. So this is the application we'll be testing and the application that we're running tests on. I've been working on a DevOps Playground feedback form, and you can click these buttons if you're happy, if you're sad, click other, and you can type in your mood. Oops, that's not how spelled great. Is that great? I'm not sure. Anyway, and you can also type some comments. And you can click the submit button. For the application, I've made it so it doesn't refresh on submit to make it a little bit easier for developing. I just haven't removed that piece of code yet. Anyway, that was a little look at the application that I made. It's a very small, very humble application. And now, if I just press the up arrow, so I moved terminals back, if I press the up arrow and I click enter, it should just rerun yarn Cypress. Don't know if that's my phone ringing or not. Alright, cool. So it passed. Great. So now if we go back to Cypress Dashboard, we can see we've now got a project, hands-on with Cypress and Cypress Dashboard. I'm going to click on that, and I can see that I had a build failure, and that also got recorded. So I might as well take a look at that. I already know why it failed. But yeah, you can see that it could not load localhost 3000. So this is really useful. So I'm going to click back on latest runs, and I can see that this one passed. And this one doesn't give me a screenshot, but it gives me a video. So I can watch this test. And there we go. So there we go. That's that test. So I unintentionally recorded a failed test, which was my mistake. However, now I'm going to genuinely make my test fail. So I can do that by going into Visual Studio Code and going Cypress, Integration, Test Spec. I'm just going to make this a little smaller. There we go. That shouldn't be there. Yeah. So this is the test that gets run by Cypress. So here I'm telling Cypress to visit the host, which is a cypress.env variable, Cypress environment variable. That's in the cypress.json file. And this is env host with the URL to the application. And then the next part of Cypress is Cypress get, and this gets an element of the web page. You can do it by tags, or you can do it by attributes, like how I have here. And here's the assert, it should, and then it says so type submit. So this is getting the submit button. I'm saying the submit button should be visible. And this is what I really like about Cypress, because it's almost kind of human readable, or how a human would speak, almost. Anyway, so I can understand that it's saying the button should be visible. To make the test fail, I just inverse that statement by saying not, so it should not be visible. And now if I run the test again by pressing the up arrow and enter, if I am testing correctly and my application is behaving correctly, this should fail. So I'm expecting a failure. I'm going to go to Cypress, and look, I can see it come through in real time. So if you have lots of tests, you can actually follow the tests as they come through, and you can see like the status bars of the tests. So this is all green, all of it passed, which is good. So I think that is all of or almost all of stage one. Before we go into trying to create a CI pipeline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this test go back to being correct, so it passes. And I'm just going to save that with Control S. And I expect this to update. Oh, it's because I'm got fixtures, that's fine. So now I'm going to type git checkout develop. Oh, okay. So that's going to swap me to the develop branch because I don't want to commit to master. Usually I'd make another branch up develop whenever I'm doing anything, but it's okay for this. So I'm going to add my changes to git with git add dot. I'm going to do git commit -m for message, and message is going to be set up Cypress Dashboard. Oops, this one. Okay, so now this is where you have to enter your credentials if you didn't do the alternative way that I showed earlier. So I'm just following the commands from run. So this is saying, please tell me who you are, run, and then I need to run these commands but replace the provided. Oops. I'm concentrating. Going to type. User.email. Like that. Okay, so now I hope that this will work. Okay, so now it's come up with this. The GitHub extension wants to sign in. I'm going to click allow, and I'm going to click continue, and I'm going to click authorize GitHub, and then open link, and I'm going to keep just clicking open, and now it wants me to enter my GitHub password. Yes, I think so. That's what I do, and usually it works. Okay, so I can see all those. I'm going to do a git push one more time. Continue. Okay, this time it errored. So let me close those. I can see it's trying to sign into GitHub. Oh, I could have just given it my token. Oh, I should have done that. Okay. Well, that's useful, but now it won't go away. Oh, what happened? Okay, so because it's hanging, I'm just gonna Control C to kill it. I'm gonna do another git push. So everything's up to date. This should work. I'm gonna check if that pushed. I don't think it did. Nope, didn't. Okay. Do I need to recommit again? That's what I wanted to see. Okay, so I don't think I followed my own advice in the README document, which is to do the above again with your commit message. And now if I do git push, I should see, yeah, it's pushing up those changes. And that concludes stage 1. So now I'm going to go to the AWS console for part 2. And to do that, I'm going to go to Firefox and make a new tab. And let's see, what was it? And type in AWS Amazon.com/console. And I'm going to go to my account. Oops, there's a bit of a lag. And to the AWS Management Console. And I'm going to sign in with the user that I was given. So I'm going to click IAM user. And account alias is DevOps Playground. Hopefully, we'll find out. So this is where you use your AWS user from the same place that you found your Guacamole user and password. So it should be Playground, Cypress, and then a number. I'm not going to save. Alright, so that worked. And I logged into AWS. I don't know if I need to change my region. I'm going to change to Ireland. And if it doesn't work, it won't let me do anything. So I know I need to change back to the original region I logged in as. Okay, so I just, under services, I typed in CodeBuild. And I'm going to create a CodeBuild project. And the project name should be, let me find it, Playground. Or actually, I think the README is the most up to date. I'm thinking it's Playground, Cypress Playground your number. That's what I think it is. I'll find out. Nope, not that. Keep going. Oh, okay. Playground Cypress, and then your number. So I'll try that. So my Playground Cypress 2. And under additional tags, I'm just going to type name. I'm going to type playground. And then for source, I'm going to change this to GitHub. And it can be a public repository. If you're using your own personal AWS account, there's some slightly different steps to do in this section. So please refer to the README document for that part. But anyway, if you're following along, you're fine. So we just need to go back to your GitHub account with the repository and get the URL and copy it. And just right clicking and paste. And that's all fine. So for the environment, I'm going to use a managed image. Operating system is going to be Ubuntu. Runtime standard. Image, I'm going to use the latest one because if you're making something new, unless you have good reason to, it's always best to try and start from the newest. And then we're going to be using Docker. So I'm going to click this to enable Docker. And then we need to click existing service role. And I'm going to get this service role again from the README document. So I'm going to have to scroll all the way down again to stage 2. Sorry if anyone's getting motion sickness from all the scrolling. I get motion sickness from scrolling, so yeah. Almost there. And this is all the additional step sections if you're using your own AWS account. How is everyone doing? Is everyone keeping up? Following along? I'm trying to go quite slowly, but do let me know if I need to slow down or if I need to speed up. So I'm going to get the ARN service role. I'm just going to select it, right click and copy. And go back to CodeBuild. I'm going to click and I'm going to paste it in. And hopefully that'll be good. Now we have some additional configuration as well to do. And yeah, so to be able to record to Cypress Dashboard, we made our access key environment variable. And this is exactly the same for here in AWS. We need to make a environment variable for our access key. So we're going to go back to our .env file. I'd really like to know how I can get rid of this. Can I just press escape? Oh, I can. Great. I'm going to select it, and I'm going to copy. I'm going to go back to CodeBuild, and I'm going to put this for the name, Cypress record key. And now I'm going to do the same for the value. This is code, right? Yeah. I'm going to, select the key and paste it in. I'm going to leave the type as plain text, just to make it a little bit easier for everyone. But the best thing to do really is to set it as a secrets manager because it is a sensitive key. And it's an important key as well. But that's it. That's all you need to add for environment variables. We're going to be using the build spec file. And this is a YAML file which tells CodeBuild all the commands that we want it to run. And we'll take a look at that in a moment. But that is all you need to do. So fingers crossed. I'm going to click and it's going to say no. So I'm in the wrong region that I have access to. So what is my region? Do I need to do it to London, or do I need to do it back to US East Ohio? Well, I'm going to run through real quickly with the one that was by default and see if it allows me to do it there. Let's see how fast I can do this. Actually, hang on. Let me get that first. It's a safe scrolling. Oh, I went past it. The slag. Oh yeah. Copy. Let's go back. Take that. This. Oh, did I forget to uncheck this? Was that my issue? So I need to remember to uncheck that box. Okay. I'm just going to work backwards. Change this to GitHub. Scroll all the way back to the top. Copy. Sorry about this for anyone waiting. This one. And again, no. So maybe I have to use London. Does anyone know? Alright, I'll try this one. Oh, that's not good. So I'll mess around with oh. Yeah, you shouldn't be able to change the auth for our instance. Yeah, lots of people I think are having the same issue I'm having. Well, that's a shame. Anyway, if that worked, you could set it up and you could run some. Oh, someone says there's a typo in the ARN. Yeah, maybe that shouldn't be there, should it? Maybe that's why. Wait, no, that's mine. Oh, I don't know. I'm confused. Let's try one more time and see if I'm getting the same issue. No. Is that new or is that just for London? Let me try Ireland. Okay. I guess I'll give this another go. I guess the third time's charm. Oh. And I did it so many times that it's remembered my input. Oops. I should have split this up a bit more. It's a lot of scrolling. Yeah. Yeah, that looks correct to me. Oh, in my first attempt, I entered the wrong name. Oh, well, that's embarrassing. We're so close if we can get this working. Oh, it remembered. Ah, no, I copied blank. Well, I'm just going to click that. Okay. Ah, okay. Thank you, chat. You helped me. I did have a typo in my first attempt. So this has created my code build. So before I click start build, I want to very quickly run you through what the code build pipeline is. So we have we have the version, which is the YAML version. And then we have phases. Inside the phases, we've got pre-build, build, and post-build. The pre-build installs our application dependencies, and in the commands we build our application. This is a good way to just check there's no issues with building, and it leads towards being able to better optimize your pipeline. And then we run yarn test -ci. So if we take a look at this command in our package.json file, we can see that test-ci runs docker compose up, and it uses exit code from Cypress. So we're going to be using docker compose to create 2 containers. First container will be our React app, which is going to be built from the Docker file. And that's just going to start and launch our application in a container. And then the next one is going to be our Cypress container. And we're using the Cypress included image, and we're creating a network by making it depend on the React app. And here we're passing through some environment variables. So we're passing through Cypress host. And what this does, Cypress is clever in that environment variables, if you pass them through with Cypress, it knows to strip off Cypress and override your environment variables inside of your cypress.json package. So this will place this value right here inside the container. Oh, I need to reopen that. This one. Inside the container with this value instead, which is our React app, and we're using part 80. And it's also going to pull the Cypress record key, and we're then going to use the command --record -key with the Cypress record key. I don't think this instance supports Docker. I tried it before. We could maybe be a little bit experimental here and give it a try. So not that one, package.json. So you can just run yarn test-ci. You could do this on your local machine if you had Docker, and it will run Cypress and the application. I'll give it a go. Why not? Oop, not with capital letters. Just to demonstrate. There we go. So yeah, there's a issue with Docker in the instances, but that's fine because there shouldn't be an issue with Docker in our pipeline. So that explanation is out the way. I'm going to click on Start Build into a single build, and I'm going to tell it that I want to run this build from the Develop branch, and then click Start Build. So if you're using your own AWS, oh, I failed straight away. Why? Why did you fail? I was all confident then. I don't get it. Did I typo develop? Let's see, it's got the environment variables. Yeah, no logs. Build. Let me try it again. Start build, single build. Let's look at the README document. Yeah, it should just be that simple. I'm going to check that button and go. That's the right repository. Okay. There's product configuration. Oh, not in there. Cancel discard. So you select the region up here in the AWS. See, I'm in Ireland, and then you can change your region. Okay, I didn't uncheck something. I'm going to uncheck all of these. So I just went to logs on the build. I'm just going to update these logs. I'm going to click start build again. And do develop and start the build. This is a tense moment, but it's lasted more than 5 seconds, so I think we're okay. So I can't see any logs with this IMA user, which means it's going to be a little bit difficult to see what's going on in the pipeline. But that's quite good because a lot of times you won't be able to see the pipeline as a developer or as a tester, especially if you're using AWS. Sometimes you may not have an IMA user, or you just may not want to grant access to your AWS account. However, because we're using Cypress Dashboard, we can still get information about what's happening. So it's going to take a while for it to build and come through. If you're using your own AWS account, you can set up webhooks to your GitHub account, and you can have it trigger builds automatically on PR requests. And this is really good because you don't want to have to be manually triggering your builds. You want your tests to run in an automated way when code changes are happening. And this will just increase your release confidence, make it easier for you to find bugs, and will mean that you find them sooner, so you save a lot of time and even money. So let's see, that's still going. While I'm waiting for that, I'm going to go to the next section I'm going to start making some tests. So there's quite a bit of improvement that can be made here. So here we've got refactor with a before each. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So before each means before each test, run this code. So it's a good way of doing initial setup that will be common across all your tests. I'm gonna just right click and cut that and put that here. Delete that. Semicolon. Enter. Nope. Just save it. So all I'm doing is I'm just moving that. And now we can also make this a little bit more reusable because we want to try and avoid code duplication. So to do that, I'm just going to go to the root. I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call it constants. And in that folder, I'm going to right click, make a new file, and I'm going to call it feedback const.js. And here I'm going to make an object that I'm going to export so I can import it into another file to be able to use it. And this is going to be the feedback page object, which is going to contain all the tags of the elements that I want to use for my tests. I need to export const feedback page. I'm going to call this submit button. Cool. I'm going to take this. I'm going to put it into here. Save this file. And now I need to import that file just underneath the globals. So import traces feedback button. No, wait, feedback page, because I want to be able to use the object I just made. And then I need to give it the file path and file name. So I'm doing that just like you would CC and navigate around your terminal. It's exactly the same for importing. So now I have this feedback object. Oops. So I'm going to feedback page, submit button. And I'm just going to save this. And I'm going to check that my application is still running. And it is. And I'm going to run my test locally. So I can just run yarn test. And this should still pass. Yeah, it passed. So with all that refactoring, the test is still the same, but I've made it a bit more reusable for me to be able to write other tests. Whoops. So let's take a look. I'm going to check back in on my Cypress, and I can see that this came through 4 minutes ago, and that is fantastic because this is from the CI pipeline in CodeBuild, which is very exciting. So I can see that this test came through. So now to double check that all this is working well, I want to create lots of tests, some that will pass and some that will fail. So it all needs to be syntactically correct. So first I'm going to get some more elements from my application. I'm going to do that by right-clicking and doing inspect. So if anyone knows how to write tests and already knows Cypress, feel free to just have some fun testing out this application. Oh, I'd rather it not be that side, but I don't know how to move it. I prefer it this way, lengthways. Oh well, I'll make do. So I just did right-click inspect, and now I can use the element selector to select an element, and I can see what this element is. Now I could be using the attributes, but I much rather create my own data QA attributes on the elements. So if I go to the SLC file, components, feedback.js, I'm just going to make this, ooh, don't want to do that. I'm going to make that smaller. So now I can read through and find places to add a data creator. I kind of already know what I'm looking for. So if I scroll down, I was looking for type submit as an example, and then here, type submit. So just before this, I'm going to type in data QA equals 2 double quotes. I'm just going to call it submit button. Now personally, I always like to put my data QA test tags or test attributes before all the other values, and that is just because it makes it a lot more easier to find visually. It makes it easier for developers to know what part of the application is being tested, and also when you're making PR requests or doing merges, you can a bit more easily see if a data QA tag is going to be removed by accident, and then you can either manually add it back or accept the data QA merge that comes through instead. But it's also a really clear sign that if you change this, more than likely a test is going to fail, which just makes everything so much more easier, and it reduces your test debt or technical debt. So I'm just going to paste that there instead. Okay, so that's now using a data query tag. So now we've got one for the submit button. I want to add one to the happy. I'm going to just put that in the input at the top. Data QA equals happy, oops, moody, happy mood. I better to get it. Let's just do happy button. It makes it so much easier to know what this is, and that is not a text input. I'm going to add that into here. and call it happy button. Oops. And paste. Okay. I'm going to write a test based on that I just entered. Oops. Once I learn how to keyboard. So it should select happy button. Oops. So this is really good for being able to, at a higher level, know what this test is supposed to do. And it's a good way that you can show almost anyone that a certain functionality or behavior of the application is being tested. So it just makes it really easy to skim through. So I'm going to do site.get that page dot happy button. I'm going to do an assert at the beginning. So I'm going to put should not be checked, because when you first come to view the application, if I just refresh, you can see nothing is selected, and that's the expected functionality. So I'm going to just test that on at the beginning. Also, it's a good way of checking that Cypress is actually selecting things and the state is updating based on user input. So I'm kind of just thinking how a user would interact with the application. And using that kind of logic to write my Cypress tests. And now, because that's been clicked, I would expect that the happy button should now be checked. Oops. I'm going to save that, and also save this. Save everything. I'm just going to double check that that test passes, because I want that one to pass. That's the order run, so I'm just waiting for it to come through. And this command runs the tests. Cool. Very good. I run both of them. So this runs without uploading to Cypress Dashboard, which is good. And then this one, I'm just going to make it error. Actually, not error, because that's a legitimate test case. I'm going to do fail the test. Be a bit more explicit. And let's do this. I'm just going to copy. This is not a good way of testing. This is just a fun way to make it fail. I would never do this in a real testing instance. I'm just doing this just to make sure it fails, so that we can see that our CI pipeline does its job. So we're almost there now. So we're coming towards the end. Why did it all pass? Oh, I didn't save. Good. Make sure you save before running. I'm too used to my Visual Studio auto-saving after I click off the window. And please fail. I think so, because it's taking a while. Cool. So that failed and I'm happy. So now I'm gonna commit a bad test. I didn't do a git add. There we go. And push that up. And then go back to my React app. And scroll all the way to the top. Just to check that those changes went through. Yep, had a recent push less than a minute ago. Cool. So that is all there. I'm just going to start a new build. And if you're using your own AWS account, you can make a pull request from develop to master, and that will trigger the OAuth to tell AWS, hey, there's been a change, and it'll go, oh, that meets our change specification to run a build, and it will start running a build. Alright, so while I'm waiting for this, it looks like it's going to be fine. Is there any questions while we wrap up? I'll try my best to answer. Let me go to latest run so I can see in real time. Oh, this test took some time. That's interesting. It's saying it's from the master branch. Oh, that's because I was in the master branch then. And this one's not available because it was triggered via CodeBuild. Anyone got any testing questions or Cypress Dashboard, Cypress questions? It looks like the support team's been very busy. Thank you so much, everyone who's been helping with this playground. It's definitely quite a technical challenge. And it's definitely something a bit new that we've not tried before with using AWS credentials. I'm just going to keep refreshing until this comes through. I'm going to sneaky sneak, take a peek, and it's still in progress. If I go to the README document, there's actually a picture of what you can expect to see when you set it up with your own OAuth and your own AWS account, and when you link Cypress Dashboard and CodeBuild, which looks really fun. Like if you're a small team and you're not using any other type of version control system, you're just using GitHub as a free version. So a really nice way to be able to automate tests for your application. There we go. So yeah, so this is what you can see. So it comes up with some checks haven't completed yet, and it's pending one check. And you can see it's AWS CodeBuild. If you have a paid version of GitHub, like GitHub Teams or GitHub Enterprise, you can make these checks compulsory to complete, which will prevent anyone from being able to click merge pull request on a failed build. Thank you, Ronald. I'm glad you liked the demo and the explanation. Aha! There we go. So it came through a minute ago. So I can see overall it's failed because there was a fail. That proportion is quite funny. So 2 of my tests passed and 1 failed. I can look at the snapshot and I can see that it tried to get the happy button and expected the happy button's element to be checked, and it's not checked, which is why it failed. And if I want to watch a video, for example, there could be some behavior that happened previously in the test, which has ended up causing a failed test, which is really good to be able to watch the video back, to be able to see kind of what was the overall cause if it's not a simple to see error. And very quickly, if I go to analytics, now I want to go, analytics are quite cool to look at, but that's not what I wanted to show. If I go to billing and usage, you can see I'm on a prestige plan, free tier, and I'm just the user. Good. And I can see how many of my test recordings I've used up. So I've used up 7 out of 500 that I'm allowed to make a month on the free plan. You can kind of track as well your usage. So if it looks like you're going to exceed your limit for your plan, you can either upgrade your plan or you can start revising your tests and cutting out tests that may be not entirely necessary or not entirely good tests. Or you can start changing when you want to record to Cypress Dashboard. For example, maybe only when there's been certain changes in a pipeline. It depends how much you really want to save money and don't want to pay. But yeah, it also I think gives you the kind of cost. It's giving me in euros, but if I go to the Cypress dashboard, it gives it to me in pounds. All right. And let me just go back to this. All right, so thank you everyone for following along on this playground. I hope you all had fun and learned something new and enjoyed working with a new virtual experience with the instance and AWS. So please leave some feedback in our Slack channel. If you haven't already, it'll be much appreciated and it really helps us make each playground better. So, oh, I didn't mean to click. I clicked too soon, sorry. Yeah, so with that, I'm going to go. So thank you for everyone who helped. I just want to give another shout out to the support team for helping. Without them, this wouldn't be possible. And also thank you to ECS for allowing us to run the playgrounds. Yeah. And I'm about to end once I find OBS. One moment. There we go. All right. Bye.